secondhand trucks. So I guess first of all, welcome to Eric Matson. Thanks for joining us again.
What's up, guys?
You are definitely looking dark back there. We may need to tweak a setting, but like we do every week, we got to change something. We can't have it be just a normal thing. Secondhand trucks. So there is a huge market out there for secondhand trucks, much to the dismay, I'm sure, of Horizon Hobby. Like the one-to-one world, though, you need to be careful about what and where you buy things. So there's a lot that can go into that. We're going to get into some of it. But I guess welcome back, everyone, to the Locked Up RC channel. I am your host, Patrick Norton. Tonight, we are going to get into a used, so secondhand, original SCX10. That's what we've got tonight. So this secondhand truck I picked up from this guy that some of you may know. So in that I got lucky, right? Because, well, I guess this is what I'll get into. When you're looking for a secondhand truck, there are basically two ways you can get one, right? You can get it locally. So maybe you meet somebody in your local group, somebody on Craigslist even, which may seem terrible, but not necessarily, because you at least get to see the truck in person. You can check to see if there has been water in the receiver box, see if the servo is jiggly, if they have electronics, maybe do a test drive. You can wiggle your bearings, all of that kind of stuff. And that's the good thing about buying something local. Welcome, Matthew, Travis, Bruce, and Ben. Good to see all you guys. So, what happened? Well, I don't know what happened there. It looks like our live stream just wigged out. Maybe it all went through. I don't know. Anyway, we're talking about secondhand trucks, right? So buying one local definitely has advantages. There are things you can look for. A lot of it can be dependent upon the specific truck. You can grab the chair. You don't have to stand.
No, I'm good.
He just wants to look taller. Damn it. So buying local has its advantages. It could be something you see at a hobby shop, whatever. You get to test drive it. You meet the person. You can ask them questions. Maybe you can figure out if they did any maintenance ever, right? Did they drive it through a whole bunch of mud? Is it going to be just a wreck? Or are you going to have to replace all the bearings? Did they give it to their 8-year-old with a 6S battery and have them drive it on volcanic rock? And then you've got a ton of drivetrain slop. So there's a lot of different things that you can figure out by buying a truck local. So I do encourage people to buy local used vehicles when they can. Having said that, there are some things that you can get that aren't local. So eBay is one. Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups. A lot of times you can get a truck that you'll find someone like me who will be just insane and go buy a truck, have all this work done to it, and then they kind of put it up on the shelf because for them, half of the fun, or sometimes all the fun, is building it. You can get this awesome truck that has a custom body, right? And just like the one-to-one world, people will spend 4 times as much as they're going to end up selling it for. I've had one-to-one Jeeps and spent a sad amount of money on them only to have to sell them because of whatever, and it's always sad how much money you get back. It's the same thing with RCs. The benefit, or I guess the good thing about RCs is, hey, even if the transmission is completely shot, it's not really very expensive to replace the whole thing. So it's always good to get something used. I guess you're always going to get it cheaper. It may not always be the best deal, but getting something used can afford you a really good opportunity to get something like this truck that I got from Eric. Now, Eric and I actually traded trucks, which throws in a whole nother level of potential fuckery, I guess, right? But
there goes the family.
Yeah, there goes the family friendliness already. I got to knock that out of the way. That way, when the YouTube people are watching this to see if it needs to pass the COPA rules or whatever, it doesn't. It fucking doesn't. Right? Anyway, so Eric and I actually traded trucks. I got a Mog that I purchased off of the internet, and it needed, I don't even remember what it needed. But you know what? It doesn't matter because that truck's not here. This one's here. You should bring that one next time you come over, and then we can show. Do you still have it?
No,
No.
actually,
Okay. Well, then he can't bring it.
Sell it. I actually ended up selling it.
So we've got our OG SCX10 Mog from Eric, right?
Yep.
We've got a Lexan body, and some of you probably have already seen what's over here. By the way, whatever you guys are up to, post up in the comments. Let us know. Always like to get comments from you guys, dad jokes, whatever, all that stuff. So, now, did you build all of the chassis in here?
No. Okay, so a little backstory on the Mog is that I purchased it on RCC from a member, and then I drove it around for a while and decided that I didn't like the tube work on it, so I sent it over to so I ended up sending it over to R2J or Sean and had him redo the rear tube work on it basically, and just rework some stuff to have the rear fenders redone and everything.
Sure.
So, and then ever since then I've pretty much and then I've owned it
until I got my hands on it.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like this truck has some, for those of you that are just curious, right? Lexan. I know there was some cracking on it. We've got some headlights in here.
Yeah.
Looks like the lights plug in. Is this maybe a separate 9-volt lead?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Yep.
The truck is, for all intents and purposes, it's not intensive purposes, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, okay. See, I guess what we're gonna have to do here is, I've got a new little thing here. We've got, every week we try to do something new. So this is something that we're going to be trying to, I guess, improve as we go. So it may not be perfect this week, but I've added something so that I can see comments down here where I normally look, because my bottom screen is real time for me. And this way, when we go to add the video to YouTube, people will actually know, I guess, what comment I'm responding to. So Ben Hightower, my good friend, says dad jokes are bad jokes, but we've got one, but I'll save it for later. But anyway, I forgot to turn the comment thing on earlier, but like I said, that's a experimental mode, I guess. So this truck is actually really clean for a secondhand truck. I wish you guys could see it better, right? I mean, I've got full lighting on it and everything, but the tube work looks like it's really well done. Everything's in good shape. The axle housings are not really even that scraped up. I mean, it doesn't look like it has a whole lot of runtime on it. So I feel like we've got a nice little truck here.
No, you do. It's been a very
Except this bearing, this bearing fell out. We got to throw the whole thing away. So, as with most used trucks, what I'm planning on doing is kind of going through, and I didn't know Eric was going to be here tonight when I initially said this is what we were going to do tonight.
Figure the original owner
right
should show up.
Well, no, I mean, that's, it's not a problem that you're here. I just didn't know you were going to be here. That may, I don't want to say save me some work, but I don't know why I took that. No. I guess what I was going to say is, usually when I get a used truck, I like to try to go through the truck and take stock, figure out what I've got,
what you're working with.
What am I working with?
Yeah. Because it has been a while since.
But there's a couple of, I guess, caveats to that, because this truck has the original SCX10 axles, which, again, in their day were awesome and fine. But I suspect I'm going to change this out.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change out the axle housings. So probably I will end up selling what's in here. However, even if I'm going to sell what's in here, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea for me to bust some things apart go through it and figure out what's in here. Now, the first thing I see is there's a Hand Brothers CMS kit. Sorry, my brain pauses sometimes when I'm trying to figure out if you guys can see things the way that I can. It looks like we've got a slipper in there. That's going to come out because I just can't. But I think we're probably going to end up replacing the axle housings front and rear with some SCX10 2 housings. The acronyms. But the tube work, I mean, everything, it doesn't look like this is really going to require a whole lot of work to change things out. You know, I guess one of the things we can kind of talk about is when you're buying a used truck, there are different things that, you know, Eric, what do you look for when you're buying a used truck?
Me personally, when I'm buying a used truck, is like, what does it all come with? And then is the drivetrain, you know, is the drivetrain all worn out? You know, like meaning like the axles, the drive shafts, the, you know, and the transmission are like all those parts, you know, because like that makes up, you know, the majority of the truck.
Right. So that's where a lot of the money is spent. In this case, I would say the chassis work, the chassis itself outweighs the value of what is potentially in the axle housings.
And I totally forgot, though, I just would like to add that I totally forgot that that cage is totally, it is actually bolt on to the chassis. So you can unbolt like all the, and then.
So we've got both sides down here that you guys probably can't see so well, but everything so is kind of screwed in.
Everything bolt, like everything is totally bolt in. So
and lots of scale hardware, so for the win.
Yeah, I've actually added all the scale hardware in, so and it's actually Patrick's.
Francisco, I don't know what didn't send. I can tell you that so far twice tonight the stream has cut out on our end. I don't know if you guys have noticed anything on your end. I don't know. I'm sure the recording is fine because we actually record everything, but if you've got a comment, please feel free to post it up again. Let's see. Jesse says, not going to lie, one of my favorite rigs has OG SCX10 axles. You know, I guess I'm going to have to get used to not having to read the comments out loud because now YouTube can also see them.
Yeah.
So the things that I guess I look for when I go to buy a truck are, if I'm planning on keeping the drivetrain, that's kind of its own set of things. I want to see, is there slop, right? If it's got wheels and tires, I can kind of rotate things back and forth to see where slop is. Let's see. Got a new comment in here. I guess I could leave you in charge of commenting.
Sure.
What was I saying? Drivetrain. So I try to check the drivetrain. In this case, we've got original Axial CVDs. High dollar, super powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, not powerful. Robust. Yeah. No. Those would come out if I was actually going to keep these axles, but I feel like I probably won't. Another thing that I tend to look for, especially with SCX10s, are something like this, right? So basically that means this does not have an FI spool or any sort of tight-fitting locker in there because these are just sliding in and out. It's not the end of the world, but I like to remove slop. So if there were wheels and tires on here, I suspect I'd be able to clock these things back and forth pretty good. I already talked about the slipper. It looks like the case is axial plastic. Nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people like to run metal transmissions because they're more robust. I've never broken a plastic transmission case.
I haven't either. In fact, I actually run like the stock gears also in a transmission. I've never grenaded any.
I have toasted plastic transmission gears.
I haven't. I don't. Knock on wood. I have not.
Well, you know, it also depends, I guess, on if you've got a slipper or not. So let's see, what else do I look for? If you've got drive shafts, what type of drive shaft? There are so many, and I guess this goes for everything. There are so many different vendors out there selling things. It's usually good if you can find something that comes from a reputable company that is going to be around for a little while. all items, I guess, can be discontinued. We've discontinued some stuff.
Yeah.
But when you buy something from a company that's not just the guy on Amazon, if it breaks and you need a replacement part, you got a much better chance of getting one. So I do encourage that. So drivetrain, this truck does not have electronics. If a truck does have electronics, I basically assume that they've been beaten to death, because they might look fine, but they may have been in like 10 trucks and again, run on crazy amounts of power. You don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, you never know what people like power-wise are running either through them.
For chassis and everything, look, it's really hard to tell if a chassis is straight and true or not. But honestly, I mean, we're not worried about perfect alignment or anything like that. So eyeball your chassis,
Make sure it's
just not completely destroyed. Because there are people like me that drive trucks off 20-foot cliffs and just laugh about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sell it like that. But links you want to see, are the links something that you're actually going to want? Are they straight? Are they trashed? The rod ends on the can come into play. See, we already covered electronics. If it comes with a radio, if it comes with a radio and electronics and everything, you absolutely want to test all of that stuff. There's nothing wrong even with RTR electronics. Sometimes it's a good thing to have just some backup electronics somewhere.
Or sometimes even just the stock.
Or just running them, yeah.
Yeah,
sometimes it's totally fine.
It's totally fine, and it works for that.
Yeah, so I'm doing kind of the same thing on the rear end here, and I can twist the axles a little bit, and they slide in and out a little bit. So again, I'm guessing that there probably is not an FI spool back here, which, by the way, guys, it is an FI spool. FI stands for effing indestructible. It's not F1, not a big deal. Let's see. Francisco. Yes, absolutely. Look for, homemade links. There's not really anything wrong with homemade links, but you have to remember that if the guy made homemade links and you bust one, you can't just buy a replacement easily. You'll just have to make another one. Servos, if it comes with electronics, even if it doesn't come with complete electronics, what's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
You want to check to make sure that when the servo powers up, it's not going haywire.
Yeah.
Right.
Or that it even works.
Right. If the truck has all the electronics and a motor, I would definitely throw a battery in, power it up, hold it off the ground, and just give it a little bit of juice and listen.
See? Yeah.
You're gonna hear either it sounds clean or it sounds like somebody's scraping a rake across a chalkboard and there's problems.
Hey, Sean.
What's up, Sean?
Hey, you get to see the MOG tonight that
Hey.
you actually did work on.
So, what else do we have?
Yeah, I mean that right there is like the biggest thing is like, sometimes you'll have people that will tell you, "Oh yeah, the electronics work," and then I've actually bought in a rig before where been told that the electronics work, and then I power it up the rig, and then either the ESC doesn't work or the servo doesn't work, and
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
Again, like Patrick was saying, as far as as the I'm trying to think of, sorry, the buying a local rig, this is where like you can actually physically see it in person is much better than buying it like say over the internet.
Right. Yeah. And Francisco just posted up a pretty good idea. If you're going to buy something from out of state, there is nothing wrong with asking somebody, especially if it's got all the electronics and everything in it, hey, can you shoot a video of it running for me? That can kind of help you, I guess, pinpoint some potential problems. If they say, oh, hell no, I'm not going to do it,
then
whatever.
If they say they don't have time or they're not willing to do it, then honestly, like, I would say pass on it.
Now, if the truck comes with a motor specifically, I would say factor into the cost of the truck that you're probably going to have to either replace the motor or get it rebuilt.
Yeah.
Because again, somebody running through mud, I mean, I can drive a truck through mud, and I do all the time, and I can basically destroy the motor and then clean it up and put some oil in the right spaces, in the right places, and make the truck kind of pass an initial inspection, but it's going to wear out. Yeah. Robert says, been there before, worked when I sold it to you. Exactly.
Yeah. We've I think most of us have been in that situation before.
Right. Yeah. So I guess again to reiterate, when you can buy a truck locally, it's always good. And that's actually one of the cool things about going to a big event is that a lot of times people will have trucks there. You see something you fall in love with and you say, hey, I want that. And the guy may not sell it right then, but maybe he will in 2 months. And you already know about it. And he already knows that you want it.
Actually, I've been to events where like you get to the event, you see a truck that you like, you're like, hey, you go up to the owner and ask him if it's for sale, and they're like, no. But then maybe you might just get lucky to where like right before they go home, that they don't want to fly with it and they want to sell it. And I've actually bought in a rig before doing that.
Yeah. So before we get too far, I have to do it because it's up on the board. So for those of you that have seen the videos in the past, I've always had my table of contents way over there, and I've got to turn my head all the way. I mean, it hurts my neck, my back, my neck injuries. Doesn't really, but I've moved my little board right here, so then now you get to see more of my beautiful face. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and it's themed this week.
Okay. So what's the theme?
The theme is why can't you the theme. That's not the theme. I can't tell you the theme, okay. But I can ask you the question. Why can't you bring a turkey to church?
Why can you not bring a turkey to church?
Right. Anybody want to guess? I'll give it a minute. I'll collect some things while we're giving it a minute because we're going to do some stuff and all things. Right. Got to make sure that everybody's had some time to digest it and then come up with whatever they think their response is. Oh, right. So, as I mentioned before, I do have a hard body for this Mog.
That came from Luke's.
That also came from, it's
model. A
little damaged. Hopefully we can get that squared away. I got some interiors. This is Wraith stuff?
That would be a Wraith interior,
right?
Yes.
This looks like a Dinky Dash, possibly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we got a Dinky Dash. We've got some, I don't know what this, is this steering so that, I don't know.
What? Oh.
Is this all Wraith stuff?
I do believe so.
Stickers for the dash. This is all stuff that hopefully by the time and this truck is done, those things will be in there. To go ahead and ruin everyone's night, why can't you bring a turkey to church? Because it uses foul language. So, dad joke for the night. With the Unimog, I got these boggers. I've got 6 of them. There is room for spare on there. The beadlocks that I have chosen to use on this truck, which there are actually some pictures up already. These are our Command beadlock rings. These look like, was it the Jeep, Jeep FC?
Yeah.
Mighty Jeep FC, FC Mighty.
Yeah, the FC concept.
So this is our take on the wheels that are on that truck. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's a cool looking truck.
It is.
So, but I like the quasi, I don't want to say military, but somewhat utilitarian, but I don't know, tough look, I guess, of these, yeah. Right? So the good news, because I guess I'm gonna go slightly off agenda. No, I'm gonna stick to the agenda tonight. These, however, are the version 1s. These are mounted on some of our 8L wheels, which have a milled-in hex, and the spacing for this ring and the face of the wheel, there's not a lot of space between there. We've actually redesigned these rings to give you a little bit more space in there. It brought that center cap piece out just a tad. But it makes it a little bit easier to get all of your stuff in there. Now with the 8Ls, it's not really that important, and there is a little center cap that slides in there, so you end up not seeing it. Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate the comments. So let's see. Now this is milled out on the back just to give you a little bit of extra room for your wheel nut to set in there. I guess I can zoom in so you guys can kind of see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. Hopefully this will gain focus at some point and stop shaking. I really want to get one of those like sturdy swing arm things. So this cap is also milled out on the back just a hair, and it's really just to give you just an extra bit of space. This is going to be hard to get in there since there's not a screw in there, but that's basically what it looks. And then you put your acorns in there. When I actually set these aside for myself, all we had at the time with the M2 Mag acorns were the chrome plated ones, but now we have black ones. So I may actually put the black ones in there. I don't know, but we'll see. That's where we are on Velux for these.
Hey, Scott.
What's up, Scott? So, what else do we have to go over with this truck?
You wanted to...
Bead locks, we talked about. I'm actually going to... Well, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to go change the agenda here. What we're gonna do tonight for a giveaway, right? So
Yeah.
I'm doing the giveaway early.
Okay.
Tonight. Yeah.
Sounds
The
good.
giveaway tonight, and I don't want there to be any confusion here, so I will tell you that the wheels, so the center wheels are not included because I want to keep them. But I'm going to give away the Commando beadlock rings. Commando. Why did I say Commando? No.
'Cause you're
Command. Woo!
Because you're thinking of your winch?
I was, yeah. So we're going to give away these Command beadlock rings. I'm going to include all of the hardware that's in there because I don't feel like I want to take it out. It's just not worth it. Because I want to update the wheels that I run on this truck to our newer version 2 Command beadlock rings. And the only reason that I'm doing that is because I like to have current products installed in my trucks so that when people ask me questions, I can go get the part, take it down, do whatever, figure things out, measure, whatever. So we're going to give these away. I will get these apart and in the mail to someone if you want to win them. So I've got a set of 4 Command beadlock rings. And again, it's just the wheels. Like I said, hardware. Wheels and hardware, but not... I said wheels? Man, it's just the rings, not the wheels, but it will be the rings and the hardware. I still can't do it right. It's the rings and the hardware, not the wheels. There we go. Finally.
Third time's the charm?
Like 7th time. In order to win the Command rings, I'm having to think about things before I say them now. In order to win the Command rings, I need you to do 2 things. Like our Facebook page and share this video on Facebook. You can share it to another group. You can share it to your own timeline, whatever. You don't need to share it to your grandma or whatever, but please share it somewhere that will actually be beneficial for the people that are seeing it.
Get
so
us more viewers, please.
well, it's not that. It's just, you know, I want people to be active. So
yeah.
if we get more viewers, great, whatever. I do this because I enjoy it. You know, it's fine. So we're going to take these apart and send those to someone. Center caps included, hardware included. Just, you know, you got to get your own wheels. For the person that wins, I will also offer you somewhere floating around this. They're over there. Will you grab those OEVs for me?
Yeah.
Yep. Because we are out of stock on these right now. So I have some, and I will offer these to the person. If they want them, they can get them. If not, whatever. But these are the actual wheels that I recommend for those rings. There are OEV wheels. These are anodized black. Focus. There we go. So I will offer those to the person at a discount. If they don't want them, that's okay, because I'll use them on another project. But I at least want you to be able to get some wheels to go with your rings. So that is that. We can move this aside, I guess. We didn't really get into the MOG, but I'm kind of, maybe I'll save some of that. Let's see. There is a new segment. New segment tonight. That's right. It's the news. And what's in the news this week? Right?
Yeah. I've been seeing so many memes on that thing.
Oh my God.
Some of them they're pretty funny.
It's the Tesla Cybertruck in the news. Right? Part of me, you know, when I first looked at this, especially this view, I don't know why I didn't see it in this one as much, when I first looked at it in this view, it kind of reminds me of like one of those Tron, one of those things from Tron. I don't know. But the fender flares kind of remind me of an original Jeep Cherokee. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Original Jeep Cherokee XJ, not like the full-size Wagoneer style, whatever. Part of me actually kind of digs this truck. Because I think, one, I can make it out of styrene easily. So for a scale truck, I think, man, if you're making scale bodies, I can't imagine anything being easier to make. It's like all flat panels. It looks like a stealth bomber, Mad Max. I don't know. What does that look like?
To me, what it looks like it was like we went back to like Nintendo 64 games. You know, it looks like it's from like that era.
Right.
To me, anyways.
I will say, based on the performance specs and the price, I think they'll actually sell a lot of them. I don't know. It's so weird looking, but it stands out. I kind of like it. This is the picture that really grabbed my attention because I didn't realize it until I saw this picture. Because these two pictures, you don't have anything to gauge it against,
Yeah.
I guess, right? This picture, though, I'm looking at the wheelbase and I'm thinking to myself, holy crap. Now, I know that's a crew cab short bed, right? So, but it's hard to tell. I probably should have put some lines on there. Is the Cybertruck just the same wheelbase as like a crew cab,
like extra long bed?
Long bed? Because I got to tell you, I had one of those, and it was terrible to drive around town. I mean, awesome for hauling trailers and whatever, but man, I don't know. What do you guys think about the Tesla Cybertruck? Let us know. The next thing that was in the news was Red Cat released this drawing. Did you see this?
No, I actually have not.
Okay. So Red Cat released this, I guess, rendering, drawing, I don't know what you want to call it, of their Gen 8 body, and it's got, I can't figure out where they're going to go with this, or at least at the time. And then the next thing I know, they've got these pictures are out, right? And they're talking about, hey, if you're going to hack the top off of your Gen 8, you're going to need some seats and you're going to need a dash. And so I'm just wondering, have they released this? I don't know. I did not look at a whole lot of news today, so I don't know. If somebody knows, has Red Cat released an interior, let me know. I didn't see one on their website. I don't know if they're going to release one. I don't know if this is somebody else's, or are they going to actually release a body that
has like a built-in interior?
Yeah, is an open top. I'm just curious. Because, honestly, the more bodies we get, thank you, Michael. The more bodies we get for the Red Cat Gen 8 and other trucks, the happier I will become, I guess, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
The reason that I said thank you, Michael, I guess, let's see, how do I turn this on? So, Michael says something about it looks like a Pontiac Aztec. I guess that has not made it all the way up on here yet. I need to, let's see. See, this is one of those things where doing stuff, gotta figure it out. There we go. There we go. Okay. Everything's an experiment for us. So Michael pointed out that the Tesla Cybertruck looks like a Pontiac Aztec, and I agree.
I agree also.
I think there are other things that it looks like. But again, I kind of like it. It's definitely different. I don't know.
Very different.
I mean, it's the specs, all the things that I saw, people were like, oh, they've got an ATV in the back and it's bottoming out. I assume, perhaps incorrectly, that there's some way to re-level it when you've got a load in it. I don't know. But
man, you can always add airbags.
Yeah. Well, I think it is a bagged suspension.
Oh.
Which kind of makes it stranger, I guess, that it looks like that. I don't have any saved pictures of, right? We didn't have a picture with it with an ATV in the back, did we?
No.
Yeah, okay. So a doorstop.
Yeah, it pretty much does.
Yeah. Some sort of space moon buggy, whatever. But you know what? I'll say this. I want to say it was somewhere in the early 90s, mid 90s, when Dodge first came out with the, super bulbous uh, front fenders and the big giant grill setup. Do you remember when that was? Like 93 maybe?
For which
The Dodge Ram full-size pickups changed body style to look more similar like to what we have now versus their older stuff where it was like the grill and the headlights were kind of all one thing. To whereas now you've got like the hood and then you've got like the fenders.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah,
somewhere
it was
in
like,
the early '90s, and
yeah, early '90s.
I remember what was his coach. Ben will remember if he's still watching. So our high school coach, I think, got one of those trucks. What was his name? Coach Randy? Yeah, I think it was. No, Rodney. It was Rodney. Coach Rodney got one of those trucks, and I remember seeing it in the parking lot, and I thought to myself, man, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Because it was so different and so weird. But now I love the way those trucks look.
Yeah, it's kind of weird on like at the time that they weren't like very good looking, but like 20 something plus years later, like they're like a really good looking truck.
Yeah. Let's see, Frank. Do I see what's happening with their servos?
I'm thinking he's meaning Red Cat.
No, I've not seen anything about Red Cat servos.
I haven't heard. No, I have not heard anything.
Let us know, Frank. We don't know. I have not read a lot of news today, like I said, but I would be interested to know. Are they getting like new awesome servos, or are all the servos exploding at the same time? Because that could be fun too. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Darn you, live stream. It's weird because it's like the stream. Are you guys seeing the stream kind of cut out for a second every now and then? Because, you know what? It's fine. I don't know. That's what we've got. The next thing on the agenda, now that we've gotten through the dad joke and the news, for the MOG, we need to talk about, I guess I should go back to looking at the MOG, right?
What electronics?
So I want to talk about electronics for this thing. And I think, so, historically, ooh, there we go. That's better. Historically, I have almost always used like a Castle BEC, a Sidewinder, and a high-tech servo. But I'm thinking maybe I should branch out. Doing Jackie's capper build, we put that Hobby Wing ESC in there, and it went in pretty easily. Have to drive it first, I think, before I figure out how I feel about it. For those of you that have, let's see, used a Castle ESC and one of the Hobby Wing Quick Run 1080s, let me know your thoughts on, I guess, throttle control, low end. Because what I really like when I'm driving is I want to be able to turn like 1 RPM a minute. Like that's really what I want. I want to be able to crawl insanely slow. And we hooked up Jackie's capper. We put a 3S battery in there because that's what we had. Mm-hmm. We plugged in the Hobby Wing and it seems a little jumpy. Now it's on 3S, so I'm expecting that. I'm also assuming that maybe the default settings aren't the best and we need to figure out, okay, Francisco, how is your low end on that ESC? Because that's really what I want to focus on. I want to be able to go insanely slow and just super, super gently build up. I should do it this way. That way, you guys see the exponential go that way. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm kind of torn on the ESC between a Sidewinder because they're waterproof, but they're also a little bit bigger, or the Hobby Wing. I believe those are also water, at least resistant, if not waterproof. I think they're waterproof. So that's what I'm looking at for that. They also have, I think it was a 4 amp BEC, the Hobby Wing. So I'm really curious to see how Jackie's truck does. Use a smaller Castle ESC, new micro crawler edition. Travis, I'll have to look into those. Are they waterproof? Because I want something that's waterproof because I think, as I mentioned earlier, I like to drive through water and mud because it's an RC and I can. For the servo, I think I'm probably going to stick with a high-tech 7954 SH. And the reason that I really like those servos specifically is because you get plenty of power. This isn't going to have, two wheels and giant tires on it. I'll have plenty of power. And I can program it for just an insane amount of steering throw. And that's, I find, to be very, very beneficial. Now, of course, once I do that, I'm going to have to find, well, actually, I won't have to find CBDs for this because we're going to swap these axles out. So what else we got? We've got the servo that we talked about. We've got the ESC. What am I not thinking about? I've already got a radio and receiver for it. So motor. Yeah, yes, we
Winch.
probably need a motor for it. Motor. What did you have in this before?
So I was running a Castle Mamba Max Pro with a Holmes Hobby. It was an older brushless censored like 2-pole motor that John made like a long time ago, with a Castle BEC and a high tech servo.
Okay.
I'm
I'm thinking about all the weight in here, and I'm thinking about how I'm gonna want to drive this truck. I don't think I'm gonna be doing any sort of rock bouncing. So I'm guessing at the lowest I would probably put in here is a 35 turn hand wound. That's what I'm thinking. I like brushed motors. It's a thing. I know a lot of guys like brushless. I'm just not there. And having a program card makes it so convenient to change. Yes, absolutely. Hey, welcome, Paul.
So,
Micro X is waterproof. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Hey, maybe I'll get a Micro X just to, excuse me. Maybe I'll get a Micro X because I don't think I've put one of those in anything before.
Before you do,
but then again, this thing weighs so much. How much amperage can that take?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is that you need to be careful, like, because I think on the micros they have like a weight limit to them.
Okay.
Like it needs to be more of like on the, lighter,
Right. Yeah. So I'll have to look into that. 4 and 5. Okay, I will look into those settings. Thank you, Michael. So I think I've got some homework that I need to do, right? So I'll look into that micro. This truck, without wheels and without a body or interior or all of that, there's a lot of metal on here. This is all metal. All of this. This is all the aluminum, but all of the tube work is solid. So these fenders, metal. So this truck is not light. I don't know exactly what it weighs. I don't have a scale up here. I guess I could do that, but 8-pound max on micro, I think. Yeah, this will definitely be pushing that, I suspect. So I will probably either go with a hobby wing just so that I have one in one of my trucks, because the only hobby wing that we have in the shop right now in a vehicle is actually in Jackie's Capra, and I want to have one in one of my trucks because why not? I like to have things. Let's see. The other thing you mentioned, a winch. Did you have a winch in here before?
I did.
Where was it?
It was actually sitting right here.
Okay, so I need to make a mount for that.
Yeah, I had you know what?
So something to look for soon in the Locked Up RC line of products will be a mirrored servo plate for your servo winch, because it's like, I'm way overdue on actually making that probably.
You know what? When I get home tonight, I will. I think I actually still have like the
mount for it,
the servo mount. It's kind of a funky mount, and it'll get you by until you design something a little bit better.
Hey, something to get you going. That's good. We always like that. Mamba X would probably be a better option. I'll look into that too.
A Mamba X, I actually have one of those, and I like it. It's waterproofed. It is. The BEC on it is actually excellent because you can go into the settings and adjust it all the way up to like 8 volts.
Okay.
So, and it's brushed or brushless.
That's one of the things I like about the Sidewinder is that.
Yeah, and you can go into the settings and change, and play, with all the.
What's the size difference between a Sidewinder and a Mamba X?
The Sidewinder, like.
I'll look it up.
I think they're about the same size. Maybe the Mamba X is a little bit bigger.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need to do some research on ESCs because, like I said, for a long time, I basically just had my go-to setup and it worked fine.
Yeah.
I love the ability for Castle speed controls to get in and build my own throttle curve where I can just have it be so deadpan
And then it just
and then
ramps
just
up.
ramp up because that's how I drive.
Yeah.
So let's see, a winch. So servo winch, we will put a servo winch in here.
That's
We've
what
got,
I- that's
if
what I
anybody
had.
had been waiting on them, our winch spools are back in stock. We will be restocking our RTR servo winches as soon as we can get some of them finished. What else? I think that's probably it. I guess a
So-
BEC will depend on what we do for the speed control. I already pointed out that this has a slipper in it, and I don't like slippers. I just don't. Probably a good reason for me to not go with a micro speed control is that when I get in a bind, I don't want to be in the bind, and I don't like using reverse. So I usually just power through everything. I think our drive shafts will be fine. That's not even an electronic. I don't know why I mentioned it, but I'm just going through my head mentally through all the steps of what's in there. I will take the transmission apart just to lube it, check bearings, and see what's in there. The axle housings, honestly, I'll tell you guys, I was planning on going through these housings and picking them apart and seeing what needed to be replaced and using them. But I kind of want to do a 10-2
I would like to
swap
see.
on here.
I would like to see 10-2. So can I ask you a question in regards of the 10-2 axles?
Ask your question, Bridge Keeper. I am not afraid.
So are you going to be using your own
Yes.
chassis mount?
Yes.
Like servo chassis mount?
So our Pro CMS, for those of you that
There you
don't know,
go.
right? So we've got the Hand Brothers servo plate on here. Hopefully that will focus in and you guys can read it, but it may not because the camera's it's fussy. Is that better? Is it more legible now? Aha. There we go. Nope. Ha, can't see anything. Darn you, lighting. So this has a Hand Brothers CMS kit, which is great for an original SCX10. Our Pro CMS, however, will fit an SCX10 and 10.2. And I've got one actually lying around here because I was planning, what was I talking about putting this on the other day? I don't even remember. So our 10.2 little mount. So this is actually our track bar or panhard drop mount. So that replaces this portion from the Hand Brothers kit.
That's actually built into the
That's built
servo.
in and non-adjustable. So with ours, you actually have some different options. You can move it forward, backwards, whatever. So this will probably end up with, it was the H2 with the SSD axles. That's what I was talking about. So we're going to have 2 Pro CMS kits to install. It's not like it's really hard to install, but just things to do.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get that done. We're going to have a list. The, I guess, good news, if you will, is that once I do that, really, other than kind of the shock mounts, the truck basically becomes an SCX10 RTR because the transmission is the same.
But I would say a pretty sweet one. Though,
Yeah,
too.
very sweet. Maybe the good news. Did I already say the good news? I don't know. I am planning on, I ordered some VS410 axles.
So is that what's going to go underneath this?
No, those are going to go on the SCX10 Cherokee.
Okay.
And the reason that I want to do that is because I had a Cherokee. I want it to be scale. I want the driver's side offset pumpkin on it.
So those axles are going to go.
So those axles back there are going to go on this.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that'll work out. I thought about when I was debating what to put what axles on things, and I thought about putting the Vanquish axles under this, but it's already so heavy. Maybe I should have. Maybe we'll get there one day. I don't know.
I mean, in all the years that I ran that truck, like local and national comps and stuff, I never had an issue with this, with the stock axles.
Yeah, well, but you drive differently than I do.
That is very true.
Yeah. Eric is you're not overly cautious.
No, I will throw caution in the wind because if you remember, back in Utah,
I've seen you destroy some things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you saw me in, when we were in Utah and I drove my my TF2.
I think I'm probably just unnecessarily risky. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah, I think the hard body cab honestly is going to be the hardest thing for me personally because I hate painting.
Just paint it red or something or blue. Just
It's I hate painting, but I like things to look. I'm also a perfectionist, so it's like I don't want to paint it because I don't think I'll do a good enough job for my own whatever requirements. I don't know. I'm hard on myself.
Are the pumpkins on? Are the pumpkins of the 10-2 the same size as the Vetera Cinder? I think there may be like a slight difference.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
They're pretty
I think
close.
the difference is that the 10-2 pumpkin I feel like is a little more curvy underneath. That's my thoughts. I mean, we've actually. Oh wait, I don't know where the Vetera is. I think we sold the Vetera. I don't have a Vetera anymore. I sold it. I was gonna take them both out and show you, but I don't have one anymore.
I think actually the Vetera diff
Deliberate
is actually a little bit smaller than the 10-2. I do believe so.
I think
not by much, but
I've got a picture of a Vetera right there. That I can't. I felt like from what I remember, the Vetera diff was a little like chunkier in its. I don't want to say profile, but just the way that it looked.
Yeah.
Not that that's bad. It's just different things. So I think that's where we are with that. So we got electronics covered. What you got?
So I was gonna ask. So can I share like a quick backstory on the part of the MOG?
Before you do the backstory, let's do this. That's right, folks. It is time for questions. So this will be a new segment for us. I guess in the future, what I will do is I will have some prepared. I'll have at least one prepared question to ask because we get asked a lot of questions on the website, and I think sometimes sharing them would probably be a good thing to do. But this is a good time for you guys to ask any questions. Yo, how you doing? We're doing good. That's a question that counts. So we got our first question.
Hey, James.
If you guys have any questions for us, whether it's relating to this MOG or the weather here in Texas,
or even questions about Locked Up RC, in general,
our thoughts on anything that's not politics or religion, I guess. How to get babes, whatever. I don't know. Let us know. Post them up. Yeah. While we're waiting for your questions to come in, Eric can tell his backstory.
Okay, so a little funny backstory on the MOG. Me and Patrick were in. I can't remember what we were in Utah for Scale Nats.
If you're gonna tell a story, you need to sit down and tell a story.
Right. So we were at Scale Nats, and I needed a couple more points to have the MOG pointed out. And Patrick actually had a scale license plate, which you can see. And so we stuck that on, and I actually ran it, and then just left it on, and then Patrick bought it, so it just kind of stayed.
I never knew it was on there, even when I put that on the workbench. It's the faded one. That's the problem. I don't know. Where did we get those?
I don't remember where you got this. So.
It was cracked and faded. It was just the spare.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's funny.
So. that's my little mini backstory.
That was a mini backstory. I thought there was going to be a mini. I don't know, a bigger
bigger, like something like explosions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got you.
Just waiting for questions in case anybody has one. I don't see
no questions, guys?
No questions.
Nothing. Come on.
All right.
Comments? Even?
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I can't force you guys to ask questions, but at least now you guys will know. We're going to have an actual segment at the end of every show where you can ask questions for whatever. I don't know. That's all I'm
actually like getting kind of excited that you're going to actually put 10-2 axles underneath that thing, because it kind of deserves it.
I think it'll look good. I wish I could put.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll see.
so
We'll see what happens.
all right, there's a question for you.
Are all your wheels going to the new lightweight design? With all the okay, so now we got questions coming.
Okay, there we
So
go.
we were about to cut off. Let's see. So take these one at a time, and I guess we can. Let me see. I will do this so that we can turn those comments on so other people can see them. So, are our wheels going to be the new lightweight wheel design? Yes, I think so. We do sell weights, right, that you can fit into the lightweight wheels. And the reason that we're going to all of the lightweight wheels, I guess, we grab one of those, and then let's see if you can see. That's not a wheel, but it was one that I carved out. Will you grab if I have a heavy one up there somewhere? Yeah, it's not a wheel, but it's fine.
It'll get your point across.
So the point across. So what he's asking about, I'm holding it up to the wrong camera. That's not going to help. It's not going to help at all. So what he's asking about is on the profile of our wheels, right? The newer lightweight wheels are grooved, right? So the old wheels are not. So they are heavier. We did the same thing with the wide wheels. So the groove's a little bit wider. But initially, we didn't actually groove the wheels with weight in mind. We grooved the wheels so that we could anodize them. Because of all the holes in these things, plugging, taping, that kind of stuff, it would be problematic to get these anodized and have it come out decently. Now, I did get some anodized originally that were kind of this solid design, and this isn't even a wheel, so don't worry about what that is. It's a secret. Oh. It's off camera now. What was I saying? I did get some. I tried to get some anodized that were not grooved, right? But when they anodize and they have everything on the rack and it's going through the different baths, if the fluid gets caught in the holes, when it goes to the next tank at a certain stage in the process, it heats up, it blasts out, all the color comes off, and you get a really crappy anodizing job. Wait, we already decided we're not family friendly. You get a shitty anodizing job. So that's why we're grooving all of the wheels. We don't have to groove all of the wheels, but the reason that we're going to groove all of the wheels is because when we're mass producing these things, it's easier for us to have a whole lot of these in stock and then say, hey, crap, we ran out of those. We need to get some wheels anodized and take some over to anodizing. So that's one question down. I hope that answers your question. I'd say more, but I don't want to get in trouble with myself later. So let's see. Next question. With all the rear weight on the metal flatbed, do you feel it necessary to add low brass to the front of the Unimog to keep the front down?
No.
Michael, I probably won't add brass to the front of the truck. I will add some weight. Actually, I take that back. I will probably add some of our 1/9 wheel weights, which I don't have any up here to show you, to the front wheels to help weigh the front axle down. I don't know where the actual center of gravity is on the truck right now. I'm going to have to put it on a scale and figure some things out. I will probably try to, I guess, bias as much weight closer to the front. But this truck is probably not going to be a super competitive Sorka Scale Nationals type of truck. This truck, I think, for me, is going to be built and finished so that I can just have fun with it. And a lot of my trucks seem to be going that direction. It's not that I don't like competitions, because I actually really do, but I enjoy going, meeting people, driving, breaking my truck, finishing on 3 wheels, whatever. But as a vendor, especially when I sponsor a competition, I don't really like to go and compete because I get ultra competitive and I want to win everything. And that causes me to not be as relaxed as I'd like to be when I'm interacting with you guys and meeting people for the first time. If I'm just thinking in the back of my head, I saw that guy cheat, man, I'm all pissed off and aggravated, then I'm not as fun to be around. So I'd almost prefer to go to a competition, not drive, and just show up, hang out, give out t-shirts, whatever, shoot the shit and meet people. And maybe bring a truck that I know is not going to win and drive it. And then I'm not worried about whatever happens because I'm just driving it for fun. So that's a different thing for me because I used to not be that way. This is for adults, not kids. Yes, that is right. Not a question, but LU. Okay, thank you. We appreciate the comment on the wheels. This is adults. Yes. What's up, Dion? You're late. Are the fenders all steel?
Yes.
Will you grab that? Yes, they are.
Front and rear.
Front and rear. For those of you that don't have one of these, seriously, go to AutoZone. This is like the greatest invention ever. It's not, but I love it. I love mine. I have one of those stuck to like a screw or a bracket or something on all of my workbenches because I always drop things. Any element-specific parts in the pipeline. Not right now. We actually haven't even built an element. Maybe that's something we could have Jackie do. I don't know. You should definitely, the next time Jackie does a video, you should comment and tell her that's what you want her to make. What weight would I say the wheels are? Francisco, all of our wheels have weights on the product pages. They should be pretty accurate. I think all of the weights were done, and I'm not looking at one right now, so I don't know, but I think all of the weights were done to include the equivalent of a front ring, a back ring, and all the hardware. Did I get the axles? You know what?
Did you get the axles?
I did not check the mail today. Mondays are usually insane. I don't actually get to run down to the mailbox, but I absolutely will check, and when I get them, I'll let you know. Because I actually forgot. That's actually another option for something we could put on here. Dion has kindly sent me some SSD Dana 60 axles.
All right.
I paid for them.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he offered to sell them to me because they're hard to find now.
Okay.
That actually might be,
I don't know, 10-2.
Yeah, I don't know. I may save those axles, Dion, because I suspect once I get out and start driving that H2, I may break something, and I'd like to have a backup.
There you go.
So we'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen. You never know. What else? I think that's it, or just the tube. Oh yeah, no. Everything is. That's not right.
What?
That's not metal, is it?
No, that is styrene.
Okay, yeah. So this hump is styrene. This is super thin
sheet metal.
Sheet metal. Is it actually aluminum? It's gotta be.
The diamond plate?
Yeah, the diamond plate's aluminum, right?
Yeah, the diamond plate is actually aluminum. The diamond plate is actually from RC Fool.
Battery tray
is styrene.
Yeah, it feels plasticky. So the weight is really confined to our tube work, our front fenders, and our rear fenders. I suppose if I really, and I mean there is backup tube all up in here and the boat sides. So let's see where our center of gravity is, just right here. Oh, now there's no motor in here, no battery, no electronics. We're getting, I'd say, using my finger center of gravity, I'm guessing we're somewhere around here. So it's not terrible. It's centered. I'd prefer a much more front bias, so probably adding some weight to the front axle. We'll see what happens. I don't know. That's all I've got. Got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Well, so thus ends the Unimog. No, that's not the end. This is the very beginning of this. I don't know how long it's going to take to get all of this done because we have so many different projects in the works. A lot of this may actually end up being done off of camera, not to hide anything, but just because I can only stream for. I only stream for like an hour a week. I don't really want to do a whole lot more than that because then I think it just waters everything down. So, but we'll try to get some updates for you guys and, keep you updated on this project. I know we've got a whole lot of other things going on, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everybody for watching. We will see you next week.
Bye guys.
Well, that didn't work.